said she had to come back to Easter service because her goddaughter was having first communion or some such thing. She said, somehow, they sort of support everybody's different religion.
Yeah, that's uncommon, especially in that part of the world. Very mono cultures there.
Great.
That's right.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's weird when you see
Yes.
tolerance. Like in Iran, there are Christians in Iran, and Baha'i is persecuted in Iran. Christians are okay.
Yeah.
And even there's
I know. I went to the Unitarian Church
He loves this.
in Arlington, Virginia when I was growing up. And he would visit the Baha'i services. He would go to the different services. And, yeah.
All right, I'm just about to tune in. I'll get to the music, and we'll play it on Sunday.
Well, I want to check to make sure it's working for you.
Yes. Thank you for giving me enough time to.
Somewhere somebody's gonna break down today. Somewhere somebody's gonna hold it all some way. Some way, somehow, some way, somehow. Someday, somehow, some way, somehow.
Good morning. Good morning. Nice to see a small but spirited crowd. And with any luck, it's not the quantity, it's the quality of religious experience that counts. I'll be the chief quality control this morning. My name is Rob Peck, and I'm really honored to be hosting a service with a dear friend and a new friend. Being very active participants. You just heard a song that was written by Eric Phelps, who will later be doing more music and doing the sermon. And one of the newest members of our church has shown no reticence when I asked him if he would leap in, pick up a percussion instrument, and join us my buddy Clay graciously agreed to do so. So I hope in many ways that sets the tone that throughout this morning, in your own little realm of your mind and your large realm of your heart, we all get a chance to either say yes or to take a pass. No one's going to know if you take a pass, but if you choose to say yes, it'll really enliven our collective experience. So speaking of our collective experience, one of the customs we have at All Souls Church is to extend a warm and hearty welcome to those who are gracing our sanctuary for the first time. And if you are one of those, we are really grateful to have you here. And if you would just stand and perhaps say your name and let us know who you are so we can extend a really warm welcome to you. Really nice to have you with us. Anyone else here for the first time? Anyone here for the 50th time? No. Any? No, we do have someone else. Please, thank you. Sorry.
Hi, my name is Claire. I'm visiting Greenfield for the first time.
So nice of you to join us. Welcome. Thanks. Great. We've got 3 people. Do I hear a 4th? Oh, wait a minute. This is a service, not an auction. Another way in which we kind of warm up this room and really reach out to feel the connection that on so many levels draws all of us to this sanctuary is to stand and greet each other in the 4 directions. Say hi to people across from you, behind you, to the other side of you, and just take a moment to connect. Please. I know that the kind soul who probably greeted you and gave you your program when you came in, Russ, has often mentioned that it's really lovely if those of you are here for the first time to sign our guest book. We promise you will not receive repeated mailings afterwards, but it is nice to know who was here on this particular day, because we're starting to be more mindful of our long time history. Believe it or not, we're going to celebrate our 200th anniversary later this spring. So just remembering who's here on any given Sunday is part of that collective memory. So for whatever reason you were drawn to enter these doors, if it's because it's where you customarily go on a Sunday, if it's because on a whim on this particular Sunday something drew you here, I want to invite you to take a moment to just look around, to see all the architecture, the stained glass, all the things that make this sanctuary such a welcoming place for spirit, such a conduit for people to be able to put aside the busy pressures and the work week and all the to-do lists and just take a moment to arrive fully and be fully present. So with that in mind, I'm going to also invite you, if you prefer, to close your eyes, but in whatever way works for you, to center yourself and really be here now, to just take a deep breath, and I will welcome my friend Eric Phelps to play the prelude to this morning's service.
Falls from the heavens, released from the skies. There's a lake in my heart that had once run dry. The storm's blowing though the skies cry high. Lightning never strikes in the same place twice, so let it rain. Ah, let it rain. The great source of life, it's every desert stream. We live in the drought and the flood, both sides of the extreme. It washes over us in an endless stream. And you can swim in it, you can play in it, and you can let it wash you clean. Oh, let it rain. Oh, let it rain. Well, the storms, they send you running to a shelter you can't find. But if you jump into the puddles, well, you might not mind the rain. So let it rain. Oh, let it rain. We are born of the earth, we are born of the sea. Water, fire, salt, and air isn't all humanity. We are born of the love that tempers all the pain. Then we are born from broken waters and returned again in rain. And so let it rain. Ah, let it rain. Ah, let it rain. Ah, let it rain.
Thank you, Eric. I know you wrote that song and you sing it like you wrote it. Gene, would you be kind enough to come up and light the chalice for us, please? While Gene's doing that, I want to point out that nothing goes exactly as planned, or things are planned that are unplanned, but this will not be the order of hymns this morning. But the first hymn, which will follow the chalice lighting, should be pretty familiar to you. So with any luck, it'll serve as a great way to give us a chance to sing out and to experience that kind of mutual music that happens when people are all lifting their voices together.
Well, no.
This little light divine, please, Spirit, now more than ever, let it shine. This sparkling, this shining spark sublime, a beacon for all humankind. This little light of thine, his, hers, yours, and mine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. One more time, all together with Spirit.
Well, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Well, I won't let darkness blow it out. I'm gonna let it shine. No, I won't let darkness blow it out. I'm gonna let it shine. Won't let darkness blow it out. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Well, I'm building up for everyone. I'm gonna let it shine. I'm building up This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Oh, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
So in your order of service, you hopefully can see our covenant. It's an opportunity for us to both remind and reinforce that these are the values and principles that we want to undergird all of the ways in which we can really come together and be the kind of congregation that in our best angels we wish to be. So in this house we covenant with one another, say the rest with me please, to create a community built on a foundation of love, to work together to promote equality, justice, and peace, accepting responsibility for our individual acts, to stand on the side of love, embracing the liberation of the oppressed, and working to end discrimination and unjust privilege, to communicate with kindness and support, to serve with compassion and commitment, to learn our diversity as a source of our collective strength, to learn and grow together, generously sharing our time, talents, and treasures, to celebrate the joys of discovery, from the wonder of youth to the wisdom of age, to openly share our laughter and our tears, and showing reverence for the divine in all that is. Thank you. And thank you if you would consider, please, putting some of those principles into practice. I'm specifically referring to sharing not only our time and our talent, but our treasures. Russ, and I think Annie, you're going to walk around, and hopefully those of you who can please make a generous contribution to All Souls. So our sermon this morning has an interesting title, and I've got a good feeling there'll be ways in which it connects on multiple levels. So I'll leave it to our presenter, Eric Phelps, to share with you how he has been exploring ways to befriend his inner foes.
Thank you, Rob, and thank you all for being here. Good morning. So we're going to do a little singing to start, because that's what I do. And so I'm going to have Clay help me out here. And then we're going to go through this song a little bit, and we'll talk about it. So the chorus is quite simple. It goes like this. Hey, 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 hey. Whoa, whoa, whoa. 2 words, 1 melody. Here we go. Hey, 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 hey. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Again. Hey, 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 hey. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Now, if you have a higher voice, feel free to join in. Hey, 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 hey. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's a little out of my range, but, you know, you can do that. All right, we're going to start this off. Here we go. Well, there once was a man, fell down in a well, landed in the waters, and it sure hurt like hell. Scratched and he clawed to get his way out. To no avail, he started to shout. He said, hey, 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 hey. Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right. I'll get Clay up here in a minute. Those first 2 lines took me 2 years to write, and I'm going to talk to you about why. So I'm going to start at the beginning of this story. So this is a story song with a story. And you may have heard this story, but I'm going to tell it. This is from West Wing. Remember West Wing? When all the world's problems were solved in 45 minutes, right? This guy's walking down the street, and he falls in a hole. And the walls are so steep that he can't get out. A doctor passes by, and the guy shouts up, hey, can you help me out? And the doctor writes a prescription, throws it in the hole, walks away. And then along comes a preacher. He says, Father, hey, can you help me down here in the hole? He writes him a prayer. He throws it in the hole. And along comes his friend. He says, hey, Joe, I'm stuck in this hole. Can you help me out of here? And Joe jumps into the hole. You guys, what did you do that for? Now we're both stuck down here. And Joe says, yeah, well, I've been here before, and I know the way out. So I heard that story. I thought it would be a great song. And I really struggled. It had a great 1, 2, 3 structure. It's a good joke line. It's all the great elements of a story. And I had a lot of drafts, and I threw every one of them away, and they were horrible. And the reason that I was so struggling with it, I also couldn't really figure out the music to this thing. I didn't know what it was going to do. You just heard the music, but getting there took a long time. So I'm struggling, and part of the reason was I did not want to rhyme the word well, because in my mind he fell in a well, fell well in hell. I rewrote that draft. I looked up thesauruses. Meanwhile, fast forward about a year later, this little nugget's been sitting there, and I'm driving back from a business trip from Boston. I'm sitting in the car, and for whatever reason, I don't have my phone set up. I don't want to do anything, so I just turn on the radio. You know the radio? You heard of this thing, some of you? And I'm listening, and on comes this incredible frame drum. By a band called Dead Can Dance. You ever heard them? I think they're British, Irish, something. Haunting. And I was like, oh! You don't need music to make music. So I gave up struggling with the guitar part, and I just took that rhythm, and I kind of varied it from what I just did. There's an old joke. I couldn't figure out what that light was. It was blinding me in my face, and then it all dawned on me. Yeah, thank you. Is this thing on? Yeah. But that's what it was like. There was a bit of an insight. And Lynn Miles, she's a songwriter, she said, you've got to take your opportunity to capture the lightning. And so I tried to capture that lightning. So I turned off the radio, I do the whole thing, and I wrote the entire song that you're about to do with me in 20 minutes. And then I pulled over at the Framingham rest area and I recorded it into my voice thing so I wouldn't forget it. So I did some editing, I started playing out this song, and a lot of people liked it. I was with a band at the time, Rob was in that band, and they liked it and we started doing it. So I did this performance, and this audience member wrote me a note after hearing it on Facebook. He said, "Thank you for the song. I've been going through a really rough time this past year, and I realized that I haven't asked any of my friends for help. And I heard your song, and I called my brother, and he helped me get the mental health treatment that I really need. If you ever wonder, your music does make a difference." So I wrote this song for one person, right? And so I've got this abstract thing from TV, and now I got this thing, and I'm just writing this tune. And I thought to myself, oh, it's all about other people, and that's really nice that he had that experience. Ansel Adams said once, no matter what you're taking a picture of, it's still a self-portrait. You choose the material, you choose the thing, you choose the black and white, the mountain, the glass frame, the whatever, you chose it. It's all self-portraits. So fast forward even further, and I find myself in a pretty deep well of depression. Work's not going well, I'm struggling, I have no confidence. 17 consulting proposals in a row were no. COVID. I'm broke. And I've got all this self-doubt. And I started thinking about the fact that in that struggle of that song, I didn't want to say I was well, and I didn't want to say I was in hell. I didn't want to say either one. No wonder it took me 2 years to get those two words mashed together. Self-doubt is a beast. It's a real beast. Now, it may be for artists, and it may be for this and that, but it's for everybody. So that abstract thing was really my own reflection. It was a self-portrait. Why did I not want to admit that? Why did I not want to say, yeah, sometimes we're all got the blues, you know? Everybody got the blues, you know? I didn't want it because I wanted to get the song right. There's the thing about getting things just so. Not perfectionism. I am not a perfectionist. I'm a messy perfectionist if there ever was one. But there's something about wanting it to be great or better. And I put all that pressure on me, and I was worrying, I was complaining, but I was not reaching out to anybody around me. So one day, I figure I'm worth more dead than alive, and I make a plan. I made a plan. I kept it to myself for the whole summer. Finally, someone says, "You don't seem to be yourself lately." So I say to them, "I'm not myself." And I sort of gently hint at, like, I'm in a well. And they said, "I've been there before." And I said, "Really?" Because to me, this is a cheery person. "Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah." And so that was it. That was the door that was opened, the friend who came to me. Later, when I wanted to record this song, I reached out to people, and I sent them the demo, and they were like, "No problem, I'll be there." So Ronnie Arbo, some of you may know her music. Seth Gleer, some of you may know his music. And they just showed up. We had a beautiful day in January, and we recorded this song with them, singing along. Nobody has ever commented, "Wow, you rhymed hell with well. That sucks." Not one person. Just me. It was my struggle, my internal. As I was preparing this today to share with you, and then it occurred to me that a band called Dead Can Dance, Dead Can Dance, helped me write this song. At the time, I was also listening to a band called Joy Kills Sorrow. Sadly, they're not together anymore, but I thought those two things really kind of hit me, that they really do. And they say when you sing, you pray twice. And I thought, what better tune today to share with you all? So this doesn't end with the story. This is a 10-year-old song. This doesn't end. You know, last 2 weeks, I'm out there, I'm trying to make my living with music. And now here's another joke, you can groan or not, but a musician is someone who carries around $5,000 worth of equipment in a $500 car to get paid $50, right? Like, it hasn't really changed. It's gotten worse. I ain't getting rich off Spotify. But I thought, well, I've got this agent now, and he's pitching my music, and I got, I don't know, close enough to having a song with Tanya Tucker. Having one of my songs recorded by Tanya Tucker. Remember Delta Dawn? I saw her at the Greenfield Opry when she was 14, I think I was 10. And I thought, what an honor that would be. And that turned out to be a no. And then I applied to this songwriting thing that I've won before, and that was a no. And then another one, it wasn't even honorable mention. It was like, here's your feedback. These songs are really bad. It never stops. So I'm not writing songs for awards, and I'm not writing songs for Tanya Tucker. They're self-portraits. The vulnerability that it takes to do that, or to share with your family, your deep, dark space, or to share with your friends, is everybody's story. But boy, I sure thought it was my struggle, hell and well. So Rick Rubin wrote a book on creativity. Rick Rubin produced, of all people, this is quite a range, the Beastie Boys to Tom Petty, to Mac Miller, to you name it, right? He's got a great thing. He said, the audience comes last. Well, Rick, how can that be? You're a hit record producer. You must think about what the audience wants. And he said, no, if I find a song or a band or a groove or a group that really resonates for me, it will be a hit for one person. Me. The audience comes next. Now, it turns out, if I hadn't written that song and I hadn't shared that, this guy who shared with me that he reached out and got out of some mental health struggles would not have done that, perhaps. Who did I write for? The audience of one. The audience of one connection. The audience of one realization. Now, that may be the longest introduction you ever heard to a folk song. Suzanne Vega actually might have beaten me once recently, but... So now I'd like to do it again with everything I just said, and I'll sing these lyrics, and I'll have Clay on the drums, and you'll hear how it came together. And I want you to sing from the space of what you heard, and I will sing from the space of what I've shared, that we are each other's audience, that when we sing, we pray twice. Well, there once was a man that fell down in a well, landed in the waters, and it sure hurt like hell. Scratched and he clawed to get his way out. To no avail, he started to shout. He said, hey, 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 whoa, whoa, whoa. He said, hey, 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 whoa. Then along came a preacher with his book and his word. He said, hey there, sinner, your cries I have heard. I know God will save you, so I'll leave you this pill. Take your gold from the well to the church over there. And he said, hey, 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 whoa, whoa, whoa. He said, hey, 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 yeah, whoa, whoa. Then along came a siren, a beauty he had not seen. He caught a glimpse of her shadow in the space in between. She said, I don't have the will to lift you up by the rope, so I'll leave you my kiss and my love and my hope. She said, hey, 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 yeah, whoa, whoa, whoa. She said, hey, 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 yeah, whoa, whoa, whoa. along came his friend. He heard his voice from afar. He said, I came right away 'cause I know who you are. And then he looked down the hole, jumped in the well. Man said, why did you do that? Now we're both in this hell. He said, I know that is true, but I have been here before. And I know the way out's not through the sky, but the floor. You gotta dig down deeper if you want to be free. You gotta swim through the sewer to the river to the sea. He said, hey, 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 yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. He said, whoa, one more time. He said, hey, 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 yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. He said, hey, 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 yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
It's one thing to have talented friends. It's even more to have honest and willing to be vulnerable friends. And in a way, this is our chance to be friends with each other and make it safe to share our concerns aloud, and also a chance to celebrate the things that are going right, because there are some things going right. There are people diving into the well and helping us find the way out, metaphorically, but also in our own lives and in the self-portraits that we're taking. It sometimes is a mixture of concerns and joys. But that's what we would like to share with you now, is anyone who has something that they feel it would be valuable to, I should have asked Kate. Kate, would you be willing to light the candles, please? Sure. Thank you. Are you going to bring the mic around? Yes. So we'll bring a mic around so that you'll be able to share aloud and everyone can hear you. And I just have two important caveats. Number one, if you can honor our collective time by making your individual offering succinct and keeping it brief, that's a great way to honor this tradition. And secondly, there will be a time for some announcements afterwards, but announcements are no purpose as far as this segment of the service. Here, we're just looking for your heartfelt sharing of either your concerns, your sorrows, or those things that you really are feeling so grateful, the joys that you want to share aloud.
Morning, church. Joy and a sorrow kind of goes together. So it's Pesach. It's the second day Yontif of Passover. I'm thinking of the sorrow was the suffering, terrible suffering that the Jews went through for 500 years. And the joy on the reverse side, that with their faith, they stepped into the water. The sea parted, and it wasn't just plain sand. It was water, and they stepped in and became free with their faith and their trust. So I'm celebrating both those things today. Thank you.
Thank you, Annie.
Well, I was born in 1945, and that makes me 80 this year. And my son is 50 this year, and he's going to be here joining my younger son to celebrate 2 birthdays 5 days apart. And the real joy is that this morning, my younger son, who had not picked up an instrument in 30 years, wants to play the bass with his friends who are coming together. Well, 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 ho, ho, ho.
When is your actual birthday, Pam?
Oh, mine is not till midsummer.
Okay. Well, then you're still 79. Live it up while you're young.
No, this is my 80th turn around the sun.
Oh, okay.
I just want to thank Eric Phelps for being here. He gave me joy I didn't even know I had this morning. And with that, Eric, my heart really thanks you.
I just wanted to share a joy. Yesterday, I got to be part of the Nonviolent Medicaid Army doing, I think it was the first People's Clinic in Western Mass. Overall. And I think Annie got to stop by, and also just doing some singing has brought me a lot of joy this weekend. So thank you all for being here.
Thank you. It's great that that's happening. I had hoped to stop by myself.
I have a joy announcement is that this little light of mine that we sing, I sing in a choir, which has been singing that kind of song. Yep.
Bet you belted out, Uri.
Hi, I'm Sandra. It's nice to see so many people here today. I have a Boston family joy. After years and years of climbing ladders and passing exams and whatnot, yesterday, one of my grandsons who's graduating from high school got accepted to a college that gave him almost a full scholarship. And before that happened, he didn't know whether he wanted to go to college or not. He just thought he might want to take a gap year and wander around. But when that gift of life came through, he lit up like a light bulb and called me to tell me how excited he was. Well, the same day, I got a call from my other grandson who's graduating this May from college. And he and his girlfriend of 7 months have both gotten hired by the same agency in Boston, and they signed a lease on their first apartment together. And they just had to call Grandma and send me videos on my cell phone of his new apartment. And I thought, wow, in one day, all these currents of 20 years came into a blessing, an alignment of blessing. So I'm joyful for that.
So take heed. If you're looking for good fortune, call Grandma Sandra.
I have a candle of joy and sorrow. The joy is that Marilyn Christian stayed at home pretty much. She was falling. She had a couple trips to the hospital. The sorrow is that she died, but she got to stay at home until she died, essentially. So Marilyn Christian was, I don't know, in her mid-80s, I'm going to say. She has a sweater just like this one, so I'm wearing this one in honor of Marilyn. And I want to say she was part of the Wise Women. She was part of the Heritage Committee. And she's the inspiration behind a skit that we're going to be doing on May 18th to celebrate the bicentennial. And anyway, this is for Marilyn Christian. I should say she's been homebound for a couple of years, so she hasn't been joining us.
Hi, good morning, church. I'd like to express my joy and my gratitude towards Mohawk Trail High School up the hill in providing me a short-term opportunity to try my hand teaching high school to see if it's something that I'd like to have a career doing. And I'm just very gracious that they're allowing me to dip a toe without taking a leap of true faith.
Matt, do we have anyone on Zoom?
Yes, we have a couple things for folks would like to share. Gary and Christy offer, there's a brand new 2-day-old baby in my family with another one with another just 1-month-old and 2 more expected later in the summer. So welcome to Claire and Kylie. That was from Gary and Christy. And Robin Weingarten would like to offer, it has been a joy today to prepare for a Passover Seder by making charaset while watching this service. My mom is hosting the Seder where the average age will be 90.
I think she meant haroset. And as a Sederless Jew for the first time in my 70 years, my candle of sadness is that I will not be gathered around a Seder table to celebrate my absolute favorite holiday. And my joy is that the reason that it's my favorite holiday is because of 2 moments that happened in the service. One is where, at least in the Seders that I shared, you all took a vow that it's not enough that the Jews were able to escape bondage and gain their liberation, that nobody's free until everyone is free. And the second is the tradition of, in the middle of the Seder, which I thought was completely weird as a little boy, I was asked to go and open the front door. And when I came back and I said, Dad, why are we opening the front door? He says, because it's a custom that if Elijah the prophet or any wandering stranger needs hospitality, needs a roof to be under, to get out from under the cold, and needs food, both physical food and emotional food, that's part of why this Seder gets celebrated.
Rob, there's one more thing to share from Carlin Saltman. She offers, a great joy for Tom and I is that a wonderful young couple have decided to come rent part of our home with their toddler son. We can't wait to get to know them.
Well, for all of the concerns and joys that we've shared and all those that were not shared but are still experienced, we're grateful to have this time in community. We are not going to do our traditional sung response, prayer to friends, but in the spirit of Passover, we're going to sing, We Shall Overcome. And I'm going to attempt to illustrate the melody on my harmonica.
shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, well, deep in my heart, I still believe we shall overcome someday.
Let us hear you.
We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved away. Well, now deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. Now your turn with Rob. I still believe that we shall overcome someday.
So I'd like to invite Eric to share a benediction, and then he also has a postlude that our custom is that we just sit back and enjoy it. And then after that, there will be a little time for some announcements and a lot of time, I hope, for some socializing and coffee hour and other good forms of fellowship, usually even increased by connection to food.
We leave this gathered community, but we don't leave the connections. Our concerns, our care for each other, our service to each other, to the world, and to our faith continues. Until we're together again, friends, be strong, be well, be loving, and be true. Amen. Let's do this correctly. Lately I see good fortunes pass you by. Wish that you would try one more time. Maybe defeat comes as no surprise. Wish that you would try one more time. Sometimes it seems like you never will succeed. From everything you've gathered, there's so little that you need. So come now, somehow, it's been done before. Just open up the door and let your light shine. Come now, somehow, it's been done before. Just open up the door and let your light shine. You might be thinking there's no place for you. I wish that you could look one more time. And you might be thinking it's more than you can do. Wish that you could try one more time. Sometimes it seems like we never will succeed. Everything you gather, there's so little that you need. But come now, somehow it's been done before. Just open up the door and let your light shine. Come now, somehow it's been done before. Just open up the door and let your light shine. Let your light shine.
So we began with this little light of mine, open the door for a lot. So we began with this little light of mine. We opened up the door for Elijah, and Eric closed with a song that included both of those sentiments. And if anyone has something on a more practical level that they would like to make an announcement for, this is the time.
So, we have a beautiful book for sale, the All Souls 200 Years. It will be available during coffee hour, and I hope you take a look at it. Number one. Number two, on April 21st, we're celebrating Earth Day. We're looking for jugglers. We're looking for masks. We're looking for puppeteers. So we're going to be walking from the Commons to Energy Park at noon on Monday, Patriots Day. And All Souls is one of the sponsors. So anybody who wants to come, last week we showed some of the trees that we have to share with some bodies. We just need bodies for the trees. Because they're full-body puppets. And then we've got some other puppets too. I think there was 3 things, but I'm going to leave it at that.
I'm going to continue the metaphor. Unitarian Universalists have been around for almost 500 years. And definitely in the 60s, we really began the journey of DEI before DEI was even a thing. And so the National Association of our UUs has been supporting a wonderful building, beautiful, beloved community beyond the binary. And on the 26th of this month, 2 weeks from now, from 9 to 3, we are having a streaming with all other Unitarian Universalists nationally and having a guest speaker. And we have our poster is up here and the flyer is up here. And we would love for everyone to come because this congregation is opening up that door for a safe place in a very harsh world right now for all of us to be together and stay together and support each other. And that's what the streaming is going to be all about, is how we do that as UUs who have been doing it for a very long time.
Beyond the binary, she mentioned it. I just want to mention quickly, and then you go ahead, Russ, that if any of you aren't even sure what UU means or would like to know more about Unitarian Universalism, looking at those of you who are somewhat new to our congregation or just checking us out, several of us are very happy to share a little bit our thoughts and why it works for us and perhaps could be useful in your life. There's also printed information. It's a good segue to you, Russ. You could probably point them to where the printed information might be.
The printed information is right in front of you there. Plastic sleeves in all the pews. And we have a bunch of stuff out in the entryway, including sheets, posters about what Kay was speaking about before, building beloved community beyond the binary. In addition, yes, I was out there in the entryway greeting people this morning, and as Rob mentioned a while ago, we do have a guest book on the stand out there. If you're here for the first time, even if you don't think you're ever going to come back again, please put your name in there. We do love to see who's been here. And if you think you might want to hear from us in the future, you can put your contact information as well. And this is probably a good time for me to mention, I'm usually here on Sundays. I don't know if I'm going to be here next Sunday. So if somebody else can be out in the entryway to greet, I can show you what you need to do. It's not rocket science.
And in terms of signing the book, while your name is sufficient and your contact info would be even better, if you want to include your social security and your credit card info.
Quickly, two things. One, Social Justice Committee meets at noon in the Minister's Study. The door is open right there. All are welcome. Number two, I hope it's okay to make a brief political announcement. There's a bill called SAVE, which is not a saving bill. It's been voted on by the House. It potentially will deprive many oppressed groups, including women and many people of color, of their voting rights. It's now in the Senate. Please urge your senators to vote against it. See me if you want more details.
Given the current majorities, this would be a great time to be parting the Red Seas.
Well, first thing is I want to thank Kate Mason and crew, many of whom are here, for putting together these giant forest puppets. And if anybody wants to see what they look like, I happen to have it on my cell phone, and you'd have to come over and find me, but there it is. And these giant forest puppets are representative of the forests that we live in Western Mass, which are sucking the carbon out of the atmosphere and putting it into the soil. And that is something we want to further. And we've got 3 bills that are working on. And we have Mumau speaking the 27th in Berkshire, right next to, he's a very famous scientist, founder of the IPCC, which stands for Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. He's speaking at the Berkshire UU Church on the 27th. I won't be here then, but I'll be with you in spirit.
We'll expect a full printed report. Anyone else for an announcement? Good.
This is happening downstairs, so I'm sure a lot of you already know about it, but Stone Soup's Community Soup Night is 5 to 7 p.m. tomorrow. And they're also having a gluten-free bake sale, it looks like, this week, that from their website you can order for pickup on Friday.
Yeah, that is a very helpful announcement, considering how close we are connected to Stone Soup geographically and also spiritually. All right. Well, it was lovely to share the official service. Let's now unofficially share some camaraderie.